back to the Roundtable Unfiltered, where we have no filters, just real talk and raw opinions. So Dylan Rush, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a wild couple of days, but it's something I've been growing used to as Henry Cejudo'S producer. So life is good though, no complaints at all.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I love the story. Just how everything kind of started. So, you gotta take me through. All right, not just me, but you gotta take the viewers through. So, for people that don't know the story about how you became his producer and how you got that opportunity, so kind of talk just about the beginning, even before you left on that flight.
Yeah. So, grew up in New York City. Went to Arizona State University for sports journalism. 2 years in, I was working at Chick-fil-A for a bit and not doing anything outside the classrooms. And then there was a graduate program where we had to cover a team or a sport. And everybody wanted to cover the Suns, the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, but they weren't getting any access. They didn't get to go to the games, to interview the players. And I went to school because I wanted to cover those sports, baseball, football, basketball. Most people don't know, but I know those sports way better than MMA. I was a UFC fan my whole life, but I was a casual. And then I chose to cover MMA. And while I was in Arizona for 2 years, I'm like, all right, who's the pinnacle of Arizona MMA? Henry Cejudo. So I met him here and there, but never really got to have a conversation, introduce myself or anything like that. And after living so close to him in Arizona for 4 years, it took me going to Copenhagen, covering an MMA event in Denmark, where I finally got to meet him. I was on a helicopter. It was me, him, and Mark Madsen. And I was there to cover Mark Madsen's debut MMA event for Dominance FC 1. And Henry just asked me on the helicopter ride, he's just like, who are you? What do you do? And I just pitched myself like never before. I was like, I do this, I do this, I do this. And literally by the end of the first, not just conversation, by the end, he asked me who I was. I told him, and his response was, I want you to move to Arizona and work for me, right off the bat. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then he was like, we'll talk. And then he followed me on Instagram. And the day I got back to New York, it was about midnight. And he follows me on Instagram, texts me, what's your number? I give him my number. He calls me right away. And he's like, I need you in Arizona by 9 a.m. I said no. Then we talked a little bit more. No, I didn't say no, but I was just like, bro, 9 a.m. It's midnight. I have work tomorrow, all this stuff. My parents were saying no in the other room. And then one thing led to another. And then 3 hours later, I was at the airport. Got to Arizona by 8:55 a.m. I walked in the gym. So I was 5 minutes early. And I've been living here ever since.
That's insane. You know what, though? When they talk about jumping on opportunities, that's right. You're right there. It's crazy how, a huge risk, but something that a lot of people call crazy has opened up such an opportunity for you. I mean, not many people can say, hey, yeah, I'm with Henry Cejudo. I'm out producing for the guy. So for people that don't really understand what when you say you're his producer, so what is it that you exactly do for him?
Yeah, I didn't understand either when I signed up for this gig, because that's what I signed up.
You just took the opportunity. You're like,
yeah, bro, I had no idea.
I gotta do it for Henry here.
Mm-hmm. I had no idea what I was getting into. I thought I was just running his social media, posting, but producer, I mean, it's a million different jobs in one, because when he's out of camp and when he's in camp, it's a different job. But now out of camp, we travel all the time. I travel with him. I film everywhere we go. I do run all of his social media, posting and that type of stuff, and filming him, making the skits. He has 10 sponsors, I believe, or 8 or 9 sponsors. So I run all of his sponsorships for him. So it's more like I have not just Henry, my boss, all the sponsorships my boss. So I talk to Tops, Jimmy Bars, F3 Energy, all these different companies every day, making sure we're delivering what we on our promises and stuff. And other than that, I mean, I freaking play with his kids for an hour a day. So that throw that in the mix, all these different things, booking flights, booking this. He's big into real estate. So I've been doing a lot of stuff with Section 8 housing recently. We just did a freaking news interview tour with freaking 25 different outlets in the last 3 days. So I'm booking all those, telling them where to go, doing all these. So a lot of assistant work, and then a lot of production work. For his fight camp for Song Yadong, we did a 8-week fight camp documentary. So I filmed all of that. So that was fun. That was filming every single day. Mm-hmm. I don't always use a camera. So for the documentary, I use the camera, but for the stuff today, when I'm doing his Instagram stories or doing this, that, the hit and run thing, that was all on my phone and stuff. So a lot of filming, a lot of hanging out, a lot of just, it's not it's awesome though. I love my job. I love my life. I'm really happy that he took a chance on me for real. He didn't know, you knew, and my friends knew, and some other people knew about Rush MMA, but he didn't know what the hell Rush MMA was. He had never heard of it. When he hired me, he wasn't hiring me based on my Russia MMA achievements with Bellator, with all these different things. He was hiring me based on just like he liked talking to me and he saw like I was passionate about this stuff. So he definitely took a chance on me. I definitely lied about my experience to get the job, and it worked out.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you gotta give a little bit of a white lie. It's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. You just a little fib never hurts anybody.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. I think it's not just a good opportunity for you, but it's really cool to not just work for Henry Cejudo. Come on, it's freaking Triple C. But it's also cool to kind of see, sometimes what the cameras don't show you and behind the scenes, and seeing the good and bad and ugly. And I think it's really cool that not only are you learning something, you're also learning a lot about Henry too. And you learn what a fighter goes through and seeing the ins and outs. And it also opens up opportunities for you in the future. So if you're like, you know what, I got to move on to something else, you have all these contacts. And if you can learn to be open and listen first, speak later, and learn to sell yourself. I mean, you give so many opportunities, and I know you met a lot of fighters. I just recently went through. I know you met like Valentina. I know you met a lot of people. I know you're helping them with the show with Kamaru. So it's really cool that you're able to have all those opportunities, because not everyone's able to. So for yourself, like, is there anything that you do to like reflect and just know that how grateful of the opportunity that you've gotten?
I need to be more grateful. Like, I should be happy all the time, to be completely honest. And of course I'm not, I'm a human being, but like, yeah, man, like I said to you earlier, I was for 4 years living near Henry. Like, I was like literally saying to myself and saying to my friends, how do I get to Henry Cejudo? Like, yeah. I would have just to like hang out with him one time or interview him. Like, just to interview him back in the day, I would have been running around my apartment excited. And now it's like, he's my boss, but he's also like my best friend. Like, we spend every single day together. Mm-hmm. We hang out together and stuff. I need to be more grateful, because I could have never imagined and dreamed to be in the position I am. Like, I don't know how to talk about this stuff without bragging, but like, I have achieved a lot, to be completely honest with you and myself. Like, I've achieved more in 3 years into this than I ever imagined achieving by the time I was 30 or 40. Like, the experiences I've had in the past 6 months with Henry are a lifetime of experiences for some people. And I don't take that lightly. I don't say that to say like, look at me, I'm so cool. I say that to say, look at me, I'm so lucky. And look at me, this is what hard work can lead to. Because there are a lot of times, a lot of mornings, a lot of nights where it wasn't this fun, where it wasn't this glorified, where people weren't telling me that I was doing a great job, where I was just doing it in the dark, and like, it was kind of a thankless job for a long time. And luckily, that's not even true though. Like, journalism is a thankless job. That is true, generally speaking. But I was fortunate and blessed to have such great support, whether it was you, whether it was other journalists, my peers, my friends outside of MMA, the fighters within MMA, PR teams, just like so many people that kept telling me, like, just keep going. Like, that was like the bottom line, was like people telling me to keep going. Like Shane Burgos, when I was 20 years old, and I say to him, like, I was so nervous for this interview. Like, I grew up watching you. And he was just like, bro, for a 20-year-old, that was amazing. Just keep going. Like, you're going to be great. Like, that's what he said, word for it. And that's just one of many, where that's one that sticks with me. Archie Colgan always told me to keep going, like all these different fighters. Mm-hmm. And like, and there were times where I almost quit. There were times I did quit. And like, luckily I didn't stay quitting. I did keep going. And yeah, bro, honestly, like, not just in MMA media or journalism or anything, just in life, it's like a lot of I see these quotes from these rich people and these very successful people, and they're like, the only difference between me and the people that didn't make it is that I kept going, that I didn't give up. I didn't give up on myself. I stayed consistent. I got through the hard times. I enjoyed the fun times, and bottom line, I kept going, and it's led me to this, and I am eternally grateful.
Yeah, and I think it's just awesome, like what you've done. And yeah, and I gotta ask, so how does your living arrangements work? Do you just do you have your own apartment? How does
I don't live with Henry. People ask me that all the time.
No. I didn't think so, but I had to get it out there. So
no, I live with my friend Dylan Cejudo'S. He's a fighter in Arizona, and he's a journalist. 2 years ago, I kind of helped him get started on the media path a little bit. He's taken off. Like, no credit to me. Like, he's done it on his own, but like, I kind of helped him get started a little bit. And I live with him, his girlfriend, and one other roommate. And yeah, and this is the studio here. Like, this is open to me. Like, I'm sitting on the couch, it pulls out to a bed. So like, I have crashed here a number of times. I am at Henry's house, like Saturday night, watching Josh Emmett at like freaking midnight and shit. But nah, generally, like, yeah, I live 20 minutes away from Henry, but we spend way too much time together. I need a day off.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you talk about the pros, but like the cons, I mean, you moved away from your family. Clearly he keeps you busy enough. So do you find those are some of the, I mean, again, author us talking on here, but I mean, like for the cons, like you move away from your family, obviously
That's the
social life.
biggest con. That's the biggest con. It's almost like not worth all the pros almost. Some days. Like sometimes I'm like, not sometimes, every single day the thought crosses my mind to move back to New York. Every single day. Every single day I think about the fact that my lease ends May 31st and I might tell Henry on May 31st, like, that was it. I'm moving back home. And we had a great run. And I'm still thinking about that. And if you're watching this, Henry, like, no, I'm not thinking about that. I'll be here forever. But like, bro, my grandpa's 89. My parents are in their late 60s, like 68 and 66. And I love my parents. Like, I have such a good relationship. I'm so lucky to have my family's just so close. Like with my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, everyone. And I'm the only person in my entire family that doesn't live in New York. I'm the only person that left. Like my mom went to ASU, my uncle went to ASU, my aunt went to ASU, but they all go back to New York right after college and they stayed there ever since. My whole family's born and raised in New York. Like we're New Yorkers, man. And I'm here in Arizona and they're very happy for me. But like my grandpa, he's doing okay now. He's 89. He's battled so many different types of cancers and this and that. But
that sucks.
Yeah. But in October, like he has a hole in his neck since he was 58. He was given a 10% chance of living when he was 58. Today he's 89. He was only supposed to live up to 2 to 5 years after that operation. He's 89.
Damn,
so
look at him go. That's awesome.
Military veteran, great, like the best person ever. I love my grandpa. He helped raise me. And I remember in October when I told him I was leaving, he was in the hospital. He's good now. He's at home, but he was in the hospital. It wasn't looking great. But and he was just like, I wish you didn't have to go. I wish you didn't have to leave. Like he said that, like word for word. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, me too. And like deep down, I was like, I'm happy I get to, go work for Henry. But like that sentence has replayed in my mind over and over again. I surprised him. I don't know if you saw my video. I visited him a few weeks ago and he was shocked.
Honestly, I did not, but yeah.
Yeah. And like just seeing how shocked he was and how happy he was to have me around. I stayed with him for like half the time that I was in New York. And like, I just know that he's happier when I'm around and I can make a difference in his life. And yeah, just like, that type of stuff. It's like, I'm over here, like doing this crazy stuff with Henry, going to Mexico City, going to Miami in a few days. Like I'm having fun and they are happy for me and they want me to do this. But sometimes I'm like, damn, like my family's not doing great. My grandpa is 89. Like who knows how much longer he'll be around, hopefully forever. But am I going to regret this? It freaking crosses my mind every day. Like, am I going to regret all the time I spent away from my grandpa? And like, say he was, God forbid, to pass within the next year. It's like, should I have been there that whole time? And, so that's a big con. Way to get deep on me, Luke.
Well, hey, that's what we're all about here. We're all about real talk. Family is so important. And some people just don't realize that. And family is everything. Everything starts with the family. I feel like I'm going to start to turn into Vin Diesel here with the Fast and Furious. But no, like it really is like for me. So my line of work, I just do MMA reporting on the side and basically part-time.
Yeah. What do you do full-time?
Yeah. So I do a thing. So I'm a DSW and what that is it's like a frontline worker. I work and I support people with intellectual disabilities and mental illness. And awesome. Specifically my job, I'm called a direct support coordinator. So it's like 2 steps up as a full-time. And I basically just manage people's lives. I manage like all their documentation, paperwork, things like that. Specifically in my department, I work with people that are more independent. So because of the hours, it's very difficult setting up interviews with fighters and attending events because obviously Canadian MMA is not that it's as big, but it really isn't. There's not as much opportunities for shows, especially in my area. And travel is obviously expensive, especially in Canada. So there's those challenges. Having to balance the two. Plus, I got this show. I got the show with Jose Shori Torres. I love that show. Yeah. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. I can get into that quickly too, but. Yeah, going back, like I moved away from my family. I mean, it's only 45 minutes, whereas you got like hours apart. But yeah, like I moved away from my family to move in with my wife. and it was a big opportunity, big risk. The opportunity for the job, but it was a risk because you move away from your family. I quit my job in my hometown, so I'm taking a big risk. What if things didn't work out? I mean, obviously they are now, but what if things didn't work out, and what if there's all those ifs, but everything did, and actually, if anything, I'm much happier at the place I am now, and I'm much happier where I'm living now because in my hometown it's kind of meh. So I'm glad where I am, and I'm like literally just swim over to the States there. So it's just great, man. It's crazy how you take a risk and sometimes things just turn out for the better.
100%. Sometimes you got to leave your hometown to really reach your full potential too, man.
And that's just it. My sister, she moved away as well, and it's the same thing. Like it just sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, I'm staying busy, man. It's and like yourself, because I've been watching your stuff for a long time, and I even before you started working for Henry, I love the whole Rush MMA, and I love the whole when you're working for Cage Side Press. I think that was really cool, and I really enjoy what you guys have done over there. That's you guys have a really good production, and I really like the interviews you do. I'm trying to think the one guy that works for Cage Side Press. He's got the he's a really cool guy. He's got like
Gabriel Gonzalez?
I think so. Yeah,
he's the spider web.
Really, with the spider web.
He's the one that asked Henry that question at the media day. Like, you're working with the new producer, Dylan Rush. If you saw that in the UFC Seattle media day, he asked Henry, like, what contributions has Dylan Rush made to your team? So he gave me a big shout out there. And Henry was like, how much you pay this guy? I was like, nah, that's my old boss.
Yeah, no, he's really good, and I really enjoy what he's done, and very calculated with how he does his reporting, and he's one guy that I look up to, especially when I cover live events. Just the way he carries himself, and he's very careful. He's very professional. And he likes to put a little spice. I mean, I think my favorite interview was with Kayla Harrison that he did. That one was probably my favorite because he was able to kind of beat around the bush about when she was signing with the UFC and the way he was trying to ask her, and she already knows what he's trying to do. So that was probably my favorite interview there.
He's funny. He's good, bro. He's really good at what he does. He's an OG.
He really is. And, it's crazy how, I can remember, I mean, you probably know of MMA Island and just a big one. There's, with Chris Santiago there, or Santiago. I'm going to butcher his last name.
Chris Santiago. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, Chris Santiago. Okay. And it's crazy how, during COVID and post-COVID, how many people have really gone into the whole journalism with MMA specifically. And just watching how different people, independent people, have really done well, just jumping out and taking opportunities. And like yourself, it's cool to kind of see that, especially from a standpoint from someone like me who is only doing this stuff part-time, and I'm doing it for the passion. I'm not doing it for the job, right? Of course, if I'm given opportunity, I might have to really hustle more to meet my end for any agency. But yeah, it's cool.
But 99% of us here are doing it for the passion. 100%.
It really is. It really is. And I'm actually I'm planning on covering an event here actually. So I told you where I live. I live in Corona, right? And but where Corona is, so there you have Port Huron, Michigan, and then you have the border there, and then that border city is actually Sarnia, Ontario. And so they're actually having a local MMA event in Sarnia. So I'm hoping to cover that one. It's called BTC.
Yeah. Zach Powell is fighting for the belt, baby.
Yes, he is.
Powell.
Yes, he is. Now, it's not going to be at that event. This event is an all amateur event, which is actually kind of a lot of fun because you get to talk with a lot of people and
amateur events are great, bro.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it because these guys come in and they got so much like excitement. They're just, and I generally find some of the fights are a lot more explosive because also there's this kind of almost like the lack of experience, but there's also the guys that really want to, and the ladies that want to really prove themselves and really show what they got before they do go pro. So it's really exciting to watch. So I'm waiting to hear back on that. And then I'm hoping to do another one in London, Ontario with BTC. I think they got the show coming up in August or September. So trying to stay focus on that, and then trying to do anything with United there. So we'll see what happens out in Toronto there. So actually, no, I think the show's in Edmonton. But yeah, they're usually in Toronto there. So hoping to make something happen with that as well. So
I try to tell people, bro, like amateur shows, sometimes an amateur card is more exciting than a UFC pay-per-view main card because they just run at each other. It's that nervous energy, whether it's the lack of experience or it's this or that. Like, there's no point fighting in amateur fighting, bro. It's like it's finishes in the first round and that's it. Like,
it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. And also like the guys, they're always happy and they always come out. They're all fired up for the interview.
They love talking to you. Like if you talk to a UFC fighter, they're like, "Fuck, I gotta talk to this journalist." Not always, but sometimes. Yeah. With amateur fighters, it's all just like people are grateful that you'll take the time to interview them. So it always feels good to be appreciated no matter what you do.
Now, talk to me about the pound for pound show. So you got Henry and Kamaru there. For people that that haven't seen it or don't know about it, what is that all about, and what do you do to help facilitate with that show?
So the show is it's a Shadowline production. So the production company is called Shadowline. They have a number of podcasts. Like a lot of your favorite podcasts out there are produced by Shadowline. You just might not know it. And it's owned by Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the owner of Shadowline.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Little inside info. Actually, I don't know if I could say that, but
just keep going, man. Eyes front. Just keep going.
Well, we're hoping to have a huge guest on Pound for Pound soon, but yeah, what I do, well, the show is it's a podcast between Henry and Kamaru called Pound for Pound. The name is because they were both the pound for pound #1 pound for pound fighter in the world at one point. They have a great dynamic. Henry's more like funny and tells it how it is. Kamaru tries to stay more professional, but Henry tries to bring it out of him and get him to I don't know, slip up. But they have a great dynamic, bro. You got to check it out. Like, you wouldn't know it until you watch it because they're very different people, but together they're just like, it's just great. So funny and so informative. And two guys that have done it all, have seen it all, that are at the highest level, breaking down fights, so analytical. And then also, again, the humor that gets brought into it. We have some of the best guests. Like this week, we're going to have so many great guests at UFC 314 in Miami. We're doing it in person with all these great fighters. And what I do is I set up the camera. I set up this whole studio, make it look nice for Henry. And then the script, like I just set up questions when we do interviews, or if we're previewing UFC 314, like me and the other producers, we create a Google Doc and we like go into all the fights, and we don't tell them what to say per se, but like we give them it's like a loose script. Like it's just like talking points. Like if it's Gene Silva versus Bryce Mitchell, I'll say like the buildup has been crazy. Like Gene Silva said this, Bryce Mitchell said this, or maybe put a quote there, or maybe put this, that. So I just help, facilitate the podcast from the setup of the podcast, and then just like the script. And I'm always, I'm always behind the camera with my little notes app, like, yo, Henry, say this shit and whatnot. And Henry trusts me, and he listens more often than not. So it's really cool to. I started with Pound for Pound by just being the guy that sets up the camera for Henry. And pretty early on, they noticed that I could be a little bit more useful to them with my background in doing interviews and coming up with interview questions with all these fighters. I've probably done fucking 500 interviews in the last 3 years. So it's all I'm good at. So you might as well, I'm not good at a lot of things, but I'm pretty good at that, luckily. So.
Yeah. You know what though? Like, I got to ask you, so, you're the man behind the camera. You're the guy that's behind the whole setup. When you watch Kamaru or Henry, they're setting up and getting their questions ready. Have you ever did they ever actually get nervous? Because I mean, they're the ones always being asked these questions after their fights or before the fights or press conferences, and then they're the ones kind of interviewing these fighters, men or ladies coming on. Do you ever see anything that they're like, oh shit, I'm nervous because like I've been idolizing this guy for years, kind of thing?
Henry's never nervous. Like he was nervous when he was going to fight, but other than that, like Henry doesn't get nervous about anything. Like he wasn't even nervous to meet Trump. He's already met Trump a few times, but like when he saw Trump and they talked for a few minutes in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago, like he wasn't even nervous for that. The one time I would say they were both, I don't want to like say they were definitely nervous, but like from my perspective, they seemed a little bit nervous for Mike Tyson. Both of them did. Like when
rightfully so.
Person, yeah, it's Mike Tyson, of course. Like
fucking Mike Tyson.
I was nervous. I wasn't even the one asking questions or doing anything, but I was never. When Mike Tyson walked in the room, I was like, oh shit! Like I was like, fuck. But bro, like the Kamaru and Henry, they're seasoned professionals, man. They're like Kamaru's on ESPN now doing his thing. Like Henry's been on every freaking show and podcast and interview. So yeah, they don't get too nervous.
Well, and there's a reason why they've been hired by the UFC for many post-fight interviews, or they've done, like, I know Kamaru, did the whole thing. He did a couple of the panels with the UFC, especially when he had that rivalry with Colby there. He's done a lot of great things, and he's really good at it as well. And I mean, essentially, that's why they hire these guys. And it's cool with the UFC how you don't have to have all your former champions or your stars on there. Like, I mean, you've got someone like Anthony Smith on there. I mean, yeah, I guess he fought for a title, but like, I got another guy who speaks Bobby Green. Yeah. Guys that speak very well on camera and have that camera presence. And I think that's cool. And it's good that they have that skill, but it's also good for the sport, any sport, to see that you don't have to have somebody that just went to school to be in front of the camera, but these are just average guys that became champions or are great fighters who can just talk well in front of the camera and have that stage presence. And I think that's awesome. I know people have asked me time and time again, like I would interview people, or fighters I've interviewed many times, and then we'll shoot the shit after, because we're cool and all that. They say, like, look, you ever get nervous about interviewing guys? I said, every fucking time. Every time. I'm nervous every single interview. Except for the exception, there's a couple people I've interviewed many times. Like, I've done Jose and I, so we do the show, and I've given them interviews in a professional state, and I don't get nervous because we shoot the shit all the time. But even there's times where I've had fighters where I shouldn't be nervous for it, but whether it's just because they don't have a whole lot of material. So for me, I struggle when people don't really give me a whole lot of to kind of work on. And then because sometimes I have a hard time speaking, I have a hard time building off what they've told me. It gives me a hard time, and I'll mess up my words. I'll mess up just the beginning of a word or something, and then it's fuck in my mind. So I think for me, that's probably the most I get nervous about. But I did. So the first episode of the Roundtable Unfiltered, I talked with my guy at MMA Unhinged, and I said to him, the one interview I was so nervous for, and this was when I first started, and so rightfully so, I first started with Johnny Walker. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because it was the first thing in the morning, and he was over when he started training in Dublin there. And man, I was nervous as fuck. I don't know if it's because I didn't get very good sleep. It probably was a number of things. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, and because I didn't, I shot 3 cups of coffee just to keep myself up and just awake and alert. And then so coffee doesn't do anything for your nerves, obviously. And then 3, I think it was just because it was Johnny Walker, and I've been a huge fan of him from the ups and downs and everything. So I think it was just talking to someone that I've been loving to watch for a long time, and I was so prepared and everything. And the whole time my back is sweating, and I'm like, oh my God, I was nervous. And then after the fact, he's like, and then we just shot the shit after real quick. And I would just appreciate him for, taking the interview, because, he's over in Dublin, he's training and whatnot. And he's like, he's asking me some questions. I told him, dude, I was nervous as fuck, man. He's like, why? I'm just a normal person. He says, I'm just a normal guy, man. And I was like, yeah, I know, but just fucking, I love watching you do. He's like, I appreciate it. And I was like, all right, well, you got to go, man. So I'll let you go. But yeah, it was, that's probably the number one interview I was nervous for, besides covering live events. Sometimes I get nervous, live events, sometimes because you don't know, things are unpredictable. Sometimes your environment can be unpredictable. Shit happens. I know when I covered an event for BTC in London, and I'll never forget, I got so fucking pissed off because I was trying to interview one of these guys, and he kept coming back in and out because his team kept pulling him out. He had to go do something. He's like, well, can you just wait for me? I said, yeah, no, it's cool. So I have my camera set up, and I got it, and I have it rolling, and these girls are drunk as shit, and they're like, oh, and they're like, can we film? And it's like, no, I'm working. Sorry. I don't want to be a dick, but I'm working. And then this guy, drunk, he was being belligerent and just obnoxious and yelling, and I'm trying to do the interview, and finally I'm trying to get the interview, and I couldn't post it because the guy was just screaming in the background, so it was messing up the sound, and I didn't have a personalized camera, or not personalized camera, but a personalized mic, like something to just fit up so I could capture the sound. And he's like yelling and carrying on. And finally, the guy's like, "Oh, it looks like you got your hands full," because the guy's like trying to touch my camera and whatnot. And there's like and I didn't have anybody holding the camera for me. Mm-hmm. So I was like basically like looking at him. I said, "Listen, there's security here, but like I will kick your ass right now if you like." And he's like, "Whoa," and he starts walking away. And then the security's running up. And I was like pointing out that direction. I'm like, "Yeah," he's like pissing, like, "You guys bothering me. I'm trying to do interviews." Like, "Okay, don't worry." Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably the only time.
Wait, speaking of microphones, keep going. I'll be right back. Let me just change settings. Don't edit, obviously. Like, we could leave it half with the microphone and this with the microphone. Does that sound good?
Oh, yeah, man. That sounds great.
Sounds better, right?
Oh, 10 times better, but
yeah, I should have done. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I didn't do that.
No worries, man. Yeah, getting back to what I was going to ask you. Yeah, so you've traveled with Henry everywhere, and whatnot. Do you have like a favorite place you've traveled to?
Copenhagen.
Yeah,
are you talking about for MMA or in general? The one place I've traveled to.
Yeah.
So I graduated college in May 2023, and I had never been out of the country in my life, and I was 21 years old, and so my mom took me to Italy and Paris. I didn't really like France. I didn't really like France that much, but Italy, I went to Florence. Whoo, crazy cool place. I love Florence. I would say my top three are Florence, Copenhagen. That's my only other time I left the country. Oh, I went to Mexico a few weeks ago, which was great until I was sick for like 5 days and I thought I was going to die. But long story short, San Diego, Copenhagen, Florence are my favorite places. But I just love my favorite part of this whole thing, and like part of what got me so into it and addicted to it, was the traveling. Like even places like I went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota to cover a Bellator event at the Sanford Pentagon. And I was going there and I was just like, why am I going to South Dakota, spending all my own money? I probably worked for 2 weeks in some bullshit job in New York, some sign shop, to save up so that I could spend it all on working even more in South Dakota. And I loved it there. Like it was awesome. Such a cute, quaint little town. So like, just not, it's not even like the quality of the places I'm going. It's just like the quantity, the amount that I get to travel and the amount that I get to experience, whether it's good, bad, or anything in between. Like just building life experiences at my age. I'm 23 years old. Like I've been so focused on just like trying to enjoy every moment, experience as much as I can until I get to the point where I have more responsibilities and I can't do stuff like this as much. So definitely my advice to kids my age: experience as much as you can. Don't value money as much as you've been taught to your whole life.
Yeah, that's true. You're a braver man than me. I hate flying. I hate like. I love, dude. So I love traveling. I just hate flying.
Me too. Me too.
I do my. Well, for me, it's actually not the idea of flying. I once I'm up in the air, I'm pretty good. It's the getting up in the air. It's the turbulence. It's just
taking off and landing.
Yeah. That for me. Once I'm up in the air, and as long as it's smooth flight, I mean, depending on what what's going on, who you're with, it's all good, man. But for me, the most I've traveled is like I've flown everywhere in the States. I've flown, I've done cruises. I've done everything, and yeah, like I love to do Europe. It's just I can't get past the whole flying thing for like anything past 3 or 4 hours. I'm fucking pussy, I guess. But yeah, man, I just there's something about flying. It's a weird fear that I shouldn't have because I've done a lot of crazier shit. And yeah, man, I don't know.
Bro, my first time flying was when I was 17, touring Arizona State University, and it was the only school I toured. I went there and I was like, all right, this is where I'm going to school. And I never bro, I hated flying so much. I was so afraid to even get on that flight to go to Arizona. I would have never expected to have traveled as much as I have in the last few years. Like, it's honestly insane. I've traveled more in the last 6 months than I did from ages 0 to 19. It's crazy.
But when you're traveling with Cejudo and the team, like going through, so how's the travel work? Do they kind of put you through what how does everything work?
Wait, for what? I'm sorry, for when we travel?
Sorry. Like when you're traveling with Cejudo and the team, like is there, because like obviously you get security measures, is everything still the same like usual? Do you, they obviously,
oh no, yeah, there's no security measures. No, Henry just acts like a normal guy. Like we fly commercial, like we don't fly. He typically doesn't fly first class like he has, but like typically, like we've flown a private jet my first week working for him, and I was like, oh, I can get used to this. Haven't flown on one since, which is fine. But I was like, oh, is this like an everyday thing? And it was like, no. But no, like we just like, he gets stopped everywhere he goes for photos, like especially Arizona.
bet.
When we were in Philadelphia for the wrestling, it was like every 5 seconds someone's asked for a photo. I'm not just saying this because he's my boss. Like, no offense to you, Luke, but like Henry's not going to watch this, and no offense to me either. Like, he's not going to see this interview. But so I'm not.
Well,
I'm just saying.
You better just say how it is now. Come on.
No, I'm going to tell it how it is. I'm only prefacing it with that because I don't want people to think I'm saying this to make my boss look good. There's no fighter I've met in 3.5 years doing this that's better with fans, that's nicer with fans, especially someone of his caliber, like how much he's achieved. But like I've seen fight, not amateurs, but like lower level UFC Bellator guys that blow off fans. Like, bro, it's not even like he takes a photo with everyone that asks. It's like, just now we're at Chick-fil-A. We're visiting where I used to work, the Chick-fil-A.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and a guy comes up, asks him for a photo while he's eating. Like, that's something I would never do. Like, I've asked for photos with celebrities before, but like if a guy's eating, yeah, like people do it all the time and they don't even realize they're being rude. Henry never lets them know it's rude. He's just like, yeah, let me finish eating. But then like while he's eating, he starts talking about like, you're gonna watch UFC 314 this weekend? Like, who do you think is gonna win? But every time someone asks for a photo, he asks them a question. Whether it's like, do you wrestle? Do you fight? Are you a big fan? Are you gonna watch the fights? Like, he always asks the fans about themselves. So that's something that I really admire about Henry, and that not that I'll ever be a celebrity or be at his level, but like if I ever do get any part, if that's just something I take with me. Like I always have been that way, like treat everybody with kindness and just be a good influence and positive influence. But like, that's something that like people like reading the comment sections every day that shit on Henry, that hate on Henry. Like, I know he puts himself out there and he puts on a character and stuff, but like, it's crazy how different the gap between what people think he's like and what he's actually like. He's actually just such a great guy. Well, so that's just my piece on him. I don't even know what we were talking about, but that's, it's cool to see. We're talking about, like there's no security measures. Like he's just like does he love? He just goes like he's a regular guy. He's down to earth for sure.
I like that. I can fuck with that. Yeah. Like I think that's awesome. Like I like people who have so much success, but they stay so humble and just act like, hey, I'm just going, I'm just a person, right?
And not everyone's like that.
Oh, I know. And I've met some people, like I've met some famous people, and most of them have been really, really, really cool. It's crazy. My cousin, she used to do dance, like she used to do like competitive dancing. I don't know what you call it. Like she was like this Irish dancer. I don't know what it is. Okay. I'm just saying it's like competitive dancing. Okay. So they were in some hotel. I think that they must have been in Vegas, or maybe they were somewhere far in the States. And they were staying in the same hotel that a lot of UFC fighters were staying at, just so happens. And they had the event, they were having the dance competition in I think in the hotel, and a lot of the fighters were staying there while Valentina Shevchenko was fighting that weekend. I don't know what title defense it was, or I don't know if it was one of her title defenses or when she moved up to, it might have been when she went up to flyweight, but my cousin and my aunt and uncle, they're in the they're okay. So I think they're going into the elevator, and they're going down, and they stop at one floor, and Valentina goes in, and they they don't think much of it. Like they kind of knew who she was, but they weren't like like, oh my God, it's Valentina, and they're kind of standing there, and my cousin kept staring at her like, why do I think I know you from somewhere? Like, and she wasn't in any gear. She might have just been in like sweats or whatever. She was probably cutting weight, and then he kept looking at her, and she was just, most genuine person. Like, honestly, nicest. She's just the nicest person. She just asked, she's like, oh, like, what, you doing dancing on? And she's like, yeah. She's like, are you there for it? She's like, oh no, but I can dance. And, just having a good time. And I mean, the elevator ride is probably, because they're in a big high tower. So good, at least a good minute. And she's just shooting the shit the whole time. And then finally, knowing my aunt and uncle, knowing how much I'm a big MMA and UFC fan, they were telling me, I'm like, seriously, like I should have just came for that weekend. I would have been like, hey, like, Valentino, I'll shoot the shit with you for like 20 minutes. But nah, and the thing is too, what I don't like, and I just saw another video today. I don't know if you know who Hayden Christensen is, but there was
Why do I know that name?
Yeah, he played Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
Canadian guy. If people don't know, actually, and local too. He grew up. I think grows up. He grew up and he lives like 3 hours away from me.
Wow.
Out on a farm, and Uxbridge, I believe. But yeah, there's a video of him in a van, and people are coming up and just want to get him to sign stuff. And I'm thinking at first, I just saw the screenshot, like the first picture on Instagram. I'm like, oh, that's cool, nice guy. Well, he gets out and he signs stuff for people, and the people got like a sheet, and they have like 6 or 7 Funko Pops. I'm like, oh, fuck you. You guys aren't fans. You guys just are gonna sell his shit. But hey, cool enough guy to come and take pictures with people. Maybe there was a few fans that wanted their photos, and that's awesome, and that's what it's all about. But I say, like, shame on you guys for getting them to sign all your goddamn Funko Pops. Like, fuck you. I honestly hate that. And you see it, like, even like I saw it was some WWE star going to the airport, and people are trying to get him to sign like 3 or 4 pictures, and like, no, I'm not signing that because you're not here being a fan. You just want to make profit on me.
Yeah.
And that's the one time where I can like turn an eye and say, okay, respect for you, sir, because at the end of the day, I'm all for if you're a fighter or whatever, and people are just trying to make a profit of you. I mean, if I was a fighter, I wouldn't really give a shit too either way. But at the same time, I respect fighters that stand up for like not having people, make profit off them. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like. I like the cute little kids that are like wanting them to sign something or get a picture with them. That's what it's all about, man.
100%. Yeah, that happens. I mean, there's no really way to weed through whether the guy is just a collector or if he's trying to profit off you. But like, yeah, there have definitely been some people that have come to Henry and other fighters that I've seen that definitely are trying to get stuff signed so they could sell it for sure.
And you were mentioning about Henry and just the character and what and who he really is in 2 different things. It blows my mind how some fans and I think we can just call them casuals at this point. Some casuals, how they can't understand the difference between someone putting on a persona or like a character and them in real life.
Have these people never watched WWE? Like it's combat sports, bro. You kind of have to, like it's
and that's it too. Like. It's the same thing with someone like Colby Covington. If people are that stupid, not realize like he put on that act as soon as he was almost going to get cut by the UFC. He put on that character, and obviously did the whole thing with Kamaru Usman. And and people still are not convinced. Even there's a fucking.
What about Henry? Footage. Henry put on the character because they were taking out the flyweight division. They were ending it. They were disbanding it, and he was like, "Oh, I got to do something."
Same situation. And if anything, I thought it was hilarious what him and Colby did as their characters. They put on the funniest shit I've ever seen. People call it cringe, but I thought it was hilarious. Like, and even after there was literally footage of Colby literally talking to Usman saying, just selling the fight, right? And he's like, yeah, I know. And like and people still are not convinced. Like,
fans are going to be fans, bro.
And
like,
fans are going to be. You're right.
I don't know if you've noticed ever since I started working for Henry, but even throughout. But like, bro, I post way more on my story than I do on my feed, and it's not because it's easier to post on my story. If anything, I spend more time on my story posts than the ones I put on my feed. But it's because when you post on your feed, like you're not always like. People post for a different reason and stuff, but like your feed, it goes out to people that don't follow you. It could go on your For You. It could go on your For You page. You can go, bro. Like I don't care about like no disrespect. Like I don't care about MMA fans. I don't post stuff. I've never posted something with the intention of gaining fans or followers or clout. Like obviously, I try to make myself look good like anybody else would, but I posted my story because like all the people that follow me already, those are the people that I want seeing my stuff. Fighters and people that are close to me, and I don't know, like. Bro, when I started working for Henry and I see these comment sections, and it's not just Henry, it's every fighter. It's even the most likable, most down to earth, even fan favorites still have haters. Like, bro, Muhammad Ali was hated throughout his career. Tom Brady hated on LeBron James. If you're hating on that's the end of the story right there. Like if Tom Brady and Muhammad Ali and LeBron James and all these people are getting hated on, then everybody's getting hated on, right? Like there's always going to be haters. So I don't know. I don't concern myself too much with MMA fans. I think that MMA fans are some of the worst fans in all of sports, to be completely honest. Like there are great ones out there. There are so many great ones, so many great people, so many people that are so respectful and just great fans. And I love those people. But whenever it's not even like I'm soft. It's not like I have thin skin, but like when I see a comment that's negative on my posts, I delete it and block the person. Cause I don't want that person like go through. I have how many posts? Like thousands. There's no negativity in any of my comment sections because if there was, I got rid of it. Like it's all positive and it's always going to be positive, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be for everybody. But obviously, the world, we're not living in a perfect world, man. There's always going to be haters and negativity.
There's always people. Yeah, and there's always people that will say whatever the fuck they want online, but hey, they ain't gonna ever say it to your face. That's for sure. There was I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of his name. He does the commentating. I know he doesn't fight anymore. That's terrible.
Dominic Cruz, Bisping.
No, not Dom, but great commentator and knows his shit.
In the UFC?
Yeah, he's in the UFC.
Daniel Cormier?
No, not DC.
Not Michael Bisping, not Cruz.
No Bisping, not Cruz. The Irish Dragon.
Wait, Irish Dragon, not Paul.
Paul Felder.
Oh, Paul Felder. Paul Felder. Yeah. What am I saying? Yeah, Paul Felder. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Paul Felder. Yeah, like I'll never forget the post when someone had it out. Like
I know,
he's calling him out, and then he's like, "Well, we both know you wouldn't say that in my face." He's like, and the guy's like, "Yeah, fair enough."
No, the guy said, "Yeah, that's why I'm saying it on Twitter."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah.
That was so funny, bro. That was such a great exchange. Yeah,
but yeah, I can't say more about Henry Cejudo. Great guy. I think you're more than lucky to be able to work for him. I will say I wanted to add that in. My favorite. I will say right now, if he ever does see this or you ever share it to him,
I'll show him what you're about to say.
All right. My favorite moment of his that he did was when he was fighting TJ Dillashaw and he made the pillows of him as his face and he's kicking them around on stage and he has the snake and he's whipping them around. That was my favorite moment. I know people are like saying, "Oh, cringe." I thought it was the funniest thing. It was just.
You know my favorite one?
Okay, shoot.
What is he? I don't know what the first thing he said was, but he's like, "I'd love a tune-up because I think you absolutely suck." When Sean O'Malley's doing that interview and Henry's like drunk, bro. Oh my god! And the boys start talking shit to him. Oh my! And they show Figueiredo's face, and he's like, "It's so funny, bro."
Oh god, yeah. That's man. I gotta say, you don't have to say anything because I mean you don't probably even know, but I'm really hoping that Cejudo does have maybe another fight. I don't know who they are.
One more, last one.
One more for sure. He's got one more.
Win, lose, or draw. I mean, for sure, it's hard to say anything's for sure in this sport. Like, there's no guarantees, but that's what he wants. It's up to the UFC. So whatever they want to do, but he doesn't even care who he fights. The guy could be a guy who's unranked, whose last name ends in OV, Dagestani, terrible matchup, doesn't matter. Henry's ready. He's ready to go. He wants to fight this summer or next fall. I would love to see him fight in Madison Square Garden. He's never fought there next November, but Henry at this point is fighting more for money than anything, and those taxes in New York are no joke. So I don't know if we'll be seeing him at MSG, but
yeah, taxes seem crazy everywhere, my friend.
But I hope, listen, Henry's saying one last fight. He's saying no matter what, win, lose, or draw. I really hope Henry goes out there and knocks someone out and says, "Fuck it, I'm not retiring." Like, let's run it back. Another fake retirement.
Yeah, well, we're hoping. Did he ever talk? Was it? And I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot, so you're welcome to answer or not. Did he? So you said it was all about the money. So when he came back for the second time for the first fight, was it mainly just money?
No,
was it just?
It wasn't even all about money going to the song
just
fight.
Fighting persona, like because a lot of guys like Donald Cerrone's thinking about coming back, and even he retired, and it seems like you got a lot of these guys and ladies who just can't seem to give it up. It's because it's what you know, and once you kind of retire, it's almost like. Even if you retire on top, like I think the other guy he's coming back too. There's a couple of guys coming back. It's almost like these guys can't. Once you retire, it's almost like, what do I do now? And
that's not Henry because Henry has so much and he's planned for the future so much. He has his hand. He's invested in so many companies. He's building so much real estate and stuff. So that's not something that applies to Henry as much. But that's actually part of Henry's retirement plan is that he's going to coach other fighters, not coach in the cage fighting, but he's going to coach them on how to prepare for life after fighting and how to manage your money and invest and do these different things. So I'm really looking forward to that, whether I'm still with Henry by then or not. Like, I think it's really good. It will be really good for fighters and it'll be good for Henry to keep him busy and whatnot. I'll make a political stance here. I don't think Donald Cerrone should be allowed to come back. Not only is he like, up there in age and has so much experience, but bro, he like left to do steroids to get his body right. Then he's going to get off steroids and come back. I don't think a fighter should be allowed to just be like, all right, I retire, do a bunch of steroids, do a bunch of shit that you're not allowed to do as a fighter. And then just like, I personally don't think that's fair, but yeah, I mean, he might come back. Who knows? I don't think he will. But I will say this real quick to clarify. when I say Henry's fighting for money mostly, that is true, but it wasn't like that. Like everything changed for the eye poke. Like it really did. Like people make all these jokes and stuff, but Henry was very mentally affected by the eye poke, and I hope it doesn't carry over into the next fight. And he's not apprehensive or anything, but like, bro, the eye poke is still affecting him today. That was February 22nd. Today's April 7th. Like it's crazy. Like people don't really realize that, bro. Like his eye. Bro, like, what am I? Why would I lie? Like, people think Henry's milking and stuff, bro. Like, every time I show him something on my phone, he squints to this day. Every time I tell him to read something, like, he squints. Like, that sucks. So, going into the Song fight, if he won that, he was calling out Pantoja or he was calling out Merab for a rematch. He was he was going to this fight. It was still a title run. It was still like one last run. Like, it wasn't like I'm going to make this money and then go. Yeah, like, he still wants a rematch with Song. Like, the competitor in him is still alive and well. And, like, the competitive fire, like he still has that, and I'm hoping that if he does go out there and win, he's just like let's keep going. But yeah, at this point with the eye poke, I don't think that's the case. I think that he realized like he wants to be fully healthy, he wants to leave the sport unscathed and like be able to play with his kids and raise his kids and stuff. So he doesn't want to take any additional risks. He's been fortunate enough to like not get knocked out in the UFC. Really, I mean, he got body shot TKO'd by Demetrius, but yeah. So long story short, it's gonna be one more for Henry. I hope it's a big one. And bro, he's still a great fighter. Like these people like shit on him, like he shouldn't have come back. Like this. And everybody's always like he retired the worst. Bro, the 2 years that he took off when he retired, or 3 years, like that's when he got married and had 2 kids. Like he doesn't have any regrets about leaving the sport. And now that he's come back, it's like, oh, he's washed and he's not, bro. Okay. Aljamain Sterling was the champion, and at that point, he was like low-key the greatest bantamweight of all time, or getting near that status. And he lost 3-2, split decision. 2 judges said 3-2 Aljo, 1 said 3-2 Henry. It can't get any closer than that. Then Merab, he won the first round on every scorecard, lost the last 2. Merab is literally the bantamweight GOAT, just beat Umar Nurmagomedov. And then Song Yadong, I mean, did he lose that fight? Let's be real. He got eye poked. So he's still, he could still hang. So like, I honestly want to see him keep going.
He still fucks. Yeah. 100%. He does. And that's the thing I hate the most, the fans. Again, we discussed, but yeah, like it's crazy. Like even a lot of guys like, well, he kind of gave up or did this, but you just don't know how it really affects people until you really see it. And at the end of the day, fighters, they got to take care of themselves. And I think when you get to that age, and Jose Shorty Torres, he talked about this, that he said this best. He says, you get to that age where you finally realize you gotta be careful. You gotta take care of yourself. Again, for me, I look at it like you don't want to turn out like Bryce Mitchell and get early CTE. You don't want to get knocked out and then have a seizure on the canvas. But yeah, you get to that age where you gotta take care of yourself, because it's not just about you, it's about your family, it's about your future and what you want to do. And I think he's taking the smart approach. And I think it's really cool that you've been able to kind of talk about that, Dylan.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I love, like, when you said, what's my job? I feel like part of my job, I mean, not my job, but like, I've just been documenting my life. Like, I've been growing up in front of people's eyes. Like, I started this, I was 20, and I was a young 20. I was a kid. Like, I was like a 17-year-old trapped in a 20-year-old's body. And like, I feel like not to my own horn, but I feel like I've matured a lot. Like, I've had no choice but to. When you're surrounded by these fighters and you're in these situations, you have to like kind of grow up a little bit. So this game has helped me grow up a lot. The fighters, the supporters and stuff. Like, I feel like so many people are rooting for me, so I don't want to let anybody down. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's so crazy, man. I feel like I've lived 2 lives. I don't even remember my life before this stuff, man. Like, it's just completely, like, I created an Instagram account. 3 months later, I'm sitting in the UFC newsroom in front of Dana White, like, nervous, asking questions, and I just kept going, and it's turned into like a career, bro. Like like I did it for 3 years. I lost thousands of dollars every year. I lost $500 every time I would cover an event, and I just kept going. And honestly, like, I'm proud of myself. And I'm proud of myself that I kept going. And yeah, like, not to get deep, but like, fuck, man, I fucking stuck.
You know what, man?
Stuck through.
You know, man, it's good to end this deep. Dylan, it's a pleasure for you to be able to come on here, and I appreciate just you taking the time. I know you're really busy, and and you're able to come on and be able to be a part of my podcast here. This is fun, man. Dylan, I gotta say, man, you know, you're doing great things. You're going in the right direction. Like I said, I've been following you for years, and it's cool to see the projection that you're going up, and you're just doing great things with Henry, and you're doing a lot of great things. You're a great producer. You're doing nothing but great things, man. And man, again, I appreciate you taking the time to come on here. And like I said, we're almost running out of time. So yeah, man.
Real quick before we end, shout out to you, Luke. You're doing a great job with MMA Unhinged, with the podcast with Shorty, with all these different things you're doing. There's a lot of assholes in the media. There's a lot of people that try to get fighters to slip up, put out clickbait, talk shit, whatever else. But you're one of these guys that's been doing the job the right way ever since I met you, or I guess this is our first meeting, but like we must have been following each other for 2 years now. Like I think it was when I created that group chat with everybody.
Yeah.
And you were added in, and then we started talking. But I just want to say shout out to you. You keep doing it. I know, and now hearing your full-time job, it's a very honorable job. I respect you a lot for it. I admire you. So keep doing what you're doing, bro. I really respect it. And whenever you want me to, it was a pleasure for me to come on here and talk to you, man.